All right, guys. Well, here's another quick little project. When I was running my welding machine the other day, I was doing some repairs to it, and I fired it up without the shield or the cover, the fan shroud cover on it. And while I was running it, I couldn't tell. But as I was looking over some of my previous video, as I was downloading it onto the computer, I noticed that there was this hairline crack right here. And sure enough, you spread it open, and it's broken. I actually have two broken spots, one there and one there. And so as I was running it on the video, I could see that this was shaking, not shaking, but was wobbling in a very odd shape when I was watching the video, and then it would center itself back up. Well, it turns out that these were spreading out and recentering once they got up to speed, up to engine idle speed. And so trying to look for one of these that are not readily available at the moment, but I have to put my machine back together, which is right there. And so I've seen some tricks on YouTube and social media of how they use one of these and some wire like this to impress it into there with heat and kind of create a almost like a rebar effect in concrete. So I'm going to try that for now and see if it'll hold up. Unfortunately, I can't wait for this to show up. It'll be about 10 days, and I can't wait for 10 days for it to show up. So I am going to try this. So stick around, see how we put it together and see if it works. Hopefully it does. All right. So one of the first things I want to do is be able to get these off. I don't actually know how well this idea works, but it doesn't hurt to try. And so instead of it heating up this element right here, what we'll do is we'll use this wire, just a small galvanized wire, and we'll fit it to in there. I'll make a little shape or a coil of some sort that will fit that width to kind of bridge the gap. And then back into here, we'll use, when I press the trigger, it'll obviously get hot and short and create a glow. And I will squeeze it into that plastic, and then I will let off. And from that point, I will cut the tails off, trim them down, then sand them down with the sanding disc. So let's see if it works. What we're going to try and do is possibly bridge this gap maybe 3 times, kind of zigzag back and forth, and see if that will work. So let's see. It's all trial and error. Or something like that. See if that works. Like I say, I'll heat it up. We'll see what happens. So I've never done this before either, so. Cool. Let's plug it in, see what happens. Okay, well, let's see what happens. Here we go. get all the way in. I think the wire may have been a little bit too thick because it was having difficulty. Because when you consider this guy, this original piece, that's a lot thinner than wire. So I may switch to MIG wire on the next one. That's a lot thinner. Okay, let's try that. Okay, so for the second side, we're actually going to use a piece of this. It's a piece of cable I found. Looks like a stainless wire. Don't know exactly the size, but I tried straightening one out and folding the one in there so we can tuck it into this opening here. So let me put it into shape and I'll get back to you guys. All right, so here's this guy right here. It opens up a little bit. We'll see how that goes. Well, let me straighten these guys up. Okay, we're gonna try a different shape. It seems to be too long. Okay, so I went with a little bit smaller shape. I don't even know if you can see that. And a little closer. Of course, it's building resistance, right? Because it's the longer length. So we'll see. I'm kind of limited on how much room I have to clip these off. So hopefully I can get it all in one shot. And you guys can see that. But I'm basically just gonna do this number right there. Just let it sit in there and bridge the gap. So let me see. Here we go. Okay, take 3. We're gonna try and use 030 MIG wire. For some reason that other wire just won't get hot. So let me straighten this out and try it again. Okay, take 3. Could be that it's cooling off.
It's really hot. Just kind of test it with the rods.
Yeah. I like that fiber wire. Aha. Sure. Well, now that we're at it, may as well do the other one. Didn't realize it was going to be such trouble. You can see it changing color. Okay, so that took a little bit of work, but it wasn't so bad after all. Got those pressed in there pretty flat. It bridges across then, and the wire is about almost the thickness of this plastic itself, so it's embedded in there pretty good. Same thing over here with this one. This one I did use MIG wire. However, the angles at which they cross the crack should help hold it together. So let me blend it up a little bit with the flap disc and come back and give you my thoughts. This guy's got a little bit of a point we need to take care of. All right, let's do that. It worked. Okay, so final thoughts on this. It looks like it's working, so I'm pretty excited. This guy here, you can almost get away with not even knowing it's there. This guy here is a little bit more obvious because I filed into the top of or sanded into the top of the wire, but that's okay. But it definitely keeps it from spreading out anymore. It doesn't want to do it, so I say that's a win. Now the thought of using this as a heat source for, having it short right across the wires, I guess it didn't work as well as I planned. I had to clean that plastic up, right? Here were some failed attempts over here, and several that I thought I would put in there, and I thought that would be easier, just brand it in there and be done. But for some reason it didn't want to make the right connection, most likely because this is much thinner. This little knife edge is much thinner than the wire itself. Maybe it's too much to conduct and get hot with. So I'm glad it worked. We just used it as a knife edge to heat up and press and press and press, and it blended them in there. So again, this is the wire I used. I guess you can't focus on it, but it's pretty thick. I forget what size it is when you consider the thickness of that there. That's pretty embedded, so it should be pretty strong. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I mean, I'm glad I was finally able to try it. I've seen it on social media, a bunch, and it works. So it's exciting. It worked. So I'll order this part, and it's a permanent temporary fix. You know how that goes. So I'll have the part available soon, and I will probably change it out at the same time I change out those some other things that I need to get taken care of on my machine. So thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll catch you guys on the next little project.